Hello, and we are live. This is Six Shot. Welcome to another podcast with Transformers and such. And with us today, as usual, we have the Monolith.
How you doing all? It's saying we're still off air. Oh, now it's saying live. Okay. Took a little bit to catch up. I am the Monolith, aka Steve.
Yeah. And also with today we have Smith. You want to introduce your channel?
What's going on, people? This be your boy Smith from Smith's Super Awesome Reviews, and we'll get into what I do later. I'm just here to just enjoy the show and partake. So I love me some Transformers so much I branded myself. So
Yeah, man.
So if people ask how deep my dedication is, God damn it, I branded myself. So there you go.
Yeah, baby.
We've got all in the Blurr. So today we're going to
how deep my dedication is. God damn it, I branded myself. So there you go. Sorry about that. Okay.
Some live Q&A for those that want to ask stuff, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars. We've just obviously had the film out a few months now, so hopefully everyone's seen it. So this is a warning, spoilers. We will be talking about the movie. So
spoilers.
You now know that this is a spoiler podcast. So just before we start into that, just quickly go around with our mascots as usual. So first of all, I've got this one, which is Moduloc. It's a Masters of the Universe adult collectible.
Oh yeah.
I used to love that guy. You could do so much shit with him.
Yeah. I used to have the original as a kid, but this is the adult one. It took some finding, to be honest. But he's really cool. I've got the other half of him over here, and I've got some other bits as well, because you can make him into like 2 figures. So quite happy to get that. I'd still like to get the vintage one again at some point. But he's very cool. Very cool indeed. What have you got?
I have Chirrut Imwe. Jesus, bubble.
Nice.
Yeah.
What you got, Steve?
Well, myself, I have the entire small series of the Dinobots War and Pocket. Obviously, Snarl, my favorite, is the one I'm using specifically today. And I got to tell you, you guys know my obsession with Dinobots and Snarl in particular, and looking forward because I've got the rest of the fans' toys, so they'll be coming. The X series fans' toys Dinobots will be my mascots next time, hopefully.
Yeah,
nice. And I got this big bad booty daddy, the Overlord, and I like this one. I put the head on with the one where he's missing an eye, and he's got that kind of shit-eating grin going on. I love that face. It's that face of like, is that the best you can do? He's top notch. He really is.
He's a very awesome piece. I got the Continuum set for mine. Did you bother with that? Or?
Oh, what, the add-on pieces?
Yeah.
I was debating about that, but then that kind of goes into the territory of the Japanese animated. I like this one because this is more IDW, and I'm really digging what Mastermind Creations have been doing. Like, I'm trying to get all the IDW stuff. Like right now, I'm waiting for I got the Rodimus, got Megatron, which that's another one. That Megatron is just, it's just too good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Megatron, Chris, from your review that you did earlier on your channel.
Yeah.
I'm actually buying that the Wei Zhang Megatron just because of your review. It was epic. I've got a pre-order actually, so just waiting to hear on when that's going to be coming out.
Don't get me started on pre-orders, man. I'm still waiting on. Nah, here's the thing. Okay, so the fans' toys, Omega Supreme. I pre-ordered it from a site. Their shipment got destroyed, so I get my money back. So I go to BBTS to pre-order it. They say it's coming out in December. Now I go back, and now it's saying January, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Can I get my Omega Supreme.
Yeah, I've been waiting on the Wei Zhang oversized masterpiece Ironhide since July, and it's supposedly shipped. So I'm waiting to see if it's in the mail this week. It should be. I should be getting a lot of Transformers this week.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about Transformers and all this good stuff, but let's start off with the Star Wars stuff. So obviously we've seen, and I mean this is quite an interesting situation because the fans are kind of split on this movie. So just a quick round the table to get everything rolling. Did you guys like the movie? So Smith, what do you reckon?
Okay, here's my thing. I'm a Star Wars fan. You know, anything that has to deal with Jedi mind tricks and lightsabers, I'm all for that. My fandom for it is not that deep. So the movie for me was good. Yeah, there are some, there are some parts in the story that could have kind of get cut out because plot-wise is just, I didn't hate the movie. Do I think it's like the best? No. And here's the irony of it. You know, people complained about The Force Awakening just being A New Hope. So now they gave you something different and you're still not happy. Like, what the hell? Like, you can't win with certain people. It's like you complained about the first one. So they said, okay,
now
you see something different. And it's like, oh no, this is too different.
No. I got to disagree with you. And I'm in the camp. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I think the entire thing, it looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The special effects, the ships, character looks, everything, fantastic. Stellar and right on par. John Williams, kick ass as usual. Where it falls for me, episode 7 was a love note to the fans saying, yeah, here, we got some new characters, and I thought it was a really good start to showing something great. And we get to episode 8, and I'm sitting there at the end of the theater going, what the fuck did I just watch? Because I had to go back and watch Rogue One for an actual Star Wars movie than compared to episode 8.
And I liked Rogue One. I thought that was a good movie.
I love Rogue One. I love Rogue One. And Rogue One, fantastic. It showed off how much of a badass Vader was. Kick-ass. Great storytelling. Great characters. Character development. Great pacing for the story. The whole 9 yards. Everything that Episode 8 didn't do. There's not good... The characters are not well developed. The story is absolute shit. And we got robbed. We were absolutely robbed with how the end of Luke Skywalker saga ends.
So you telling me you didn't like Princess Leia floating through space?
Oh, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. That was someone who's never really used the Force just levitated herself in the vacuum of space back inside after really showing nothing more than being able to communicate.
Yeah,
because of the Force.
Especially seeing how Yondu just straight turned the ice when he had no shield.
Oh, poor
Yondu.
Too soon.
Spoilers for those who didn't see Guardians 2.
Everyone's seen Guardians 2. You're gonna get a swift kick to the nuts for that one. Oh my god.
Hey, I'm just saying. Yondu turned a piece of ice, and she's just like, up the way.
My big problem, in particular with Star Wars in Episode 8, is that it shouldn't have been titled The Last Jedi. It should have been titled Star Wars: The Feminist Agenda.
Oh, see, I was going to ask you about that because that's a lot of people's initiative is like, yeah, it kind of did go a little SJW.
Oh, no, it didn't. It didn't just kinda. It came out hardcore, bitch slapped, and came around for another turn at it.
So you think
there's no question. It's a hardcore SJW fucking show.
So you thinking
it's bullshit?
You thinking Ray should have had on a pink pussy hat?
I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest problems I had was how some of the characters were depicted. Laura Dern's character with the purple hair, okay, that's an SJW moment thing, because that just not something that has been seen in Star Wars previously. Fine. I can accept that. I can accept females leads and characters. I have no problems with that either. However, what I have a problem with is that the highest ranking members of the thing starting it all and managing it all, and she's not allowed, she refuses to tell anyone what she's doing or any plans about the escape or so on and so forth. But they get to slap around Poe Dameron because he's like, you're not saying shit.
Yeah, I think it was kind
because they had to knock down that toxic masculinity. That's why they had to bring it down. That patriarchy.
No shit. Yeah, and I'm sorry, it came through in blazing colors. And the thing is, it's like the NFL. You don't want political statements when you're watching a football game, and you don't want political statements in frickin' Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want it. I want to go there and be entertained. I don't want to be sitting there being slapped in the face with SJW bullshit.
Yeah, I don't like to have politics in my fiction. I've got to be honest. I like to keep the things separate. I know some people like it, but I don't like it in my music. I don't like it in my films. I don't like it in my comics, because I feel that, those are things that divide people. But yet these fictions and music and things like that, this is where we have common ground, right? And we can actually be friends and see what we have to come together rather than to divide. So I do feel the same. I do wish they'd keep those things separate.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, it's inevitable because the world we're living in right now, it's all about PC. You can't escape it right now. It's literally like I feel bad for you guys. I feel bad for you guys because you're white men, and if you ask anybody nowadays, you guys are the devil. And me, I'm just a marginalized minority, and I can't do anything without somebody's help. So what are we gonna do? Because I'm just a minority. I can't do anything, and I can't be racist because reasons.
The stupid thing is, I had a guy start up with me about 2 months ago. This one, he's a basic feminist ally cuck, and he started saying something to me, and he because I'm a big guy, I wear leather, long hair, beard, and I'm abrasive. Like, I'm a professional wrestler, for Christ's sake. I'm a larger than life personality, and this guy's sitting there going, well, you shouldn't do that. You should be, and I just slapped him.
Good for you.
And he was looking at me, and he's like, what did you do? And I'm like, just be glad I didn't give you the back of my hand like a bitch deserves.
Bravo.
I said, I'm just tired. I'm done. I'm done coddling these little SJW freaks. And, it's just pervading so much that it's entering Star Wars now. This is the last bastion it shouldn't be affecting. Yeah,
well, unfortunately, it's everywhere, man. It's inevitable right now. I wish it wasn't, but that's just the way it is now. It's like if you don't, God forbid that cast was nothing but dudes, people would be losing their shit right now. You know this. You already know this.
Absolutely.
If they didn't drop in a lead female protagonist and a minority like the Asian lady, if they didn't have all that, people would have lost their shit. They'd be like, oh, it's all masculine, it's all toxic masculinity and men.
The thing is, I actually like the cast for the most part. I think the cast was great. I just think the storytelling was shit. Like, the characters don't bother me at all. You can have as many women as you want, many guys, aliens, green chicks, blue chicks, Captain Kirk screwing them left, right, and center, whichever. It doesn't matter to me. As long as they can tell a good story. And that's where Episode 8 fell flat. The diversity of the cast doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. Where it failed on every level was the storytelling. And like I said, the biggest thing for me was we were robbed of the ending of, Luke Skywalker. He went out with a whimper, not the bang that he should have.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a big problem. I think, and this is probably the crux of it for me. There's two major things I didn't like. The Mary Poppins thing was kind of silly and funny, but the two major things I didn't like. One was the whole space chase thing was drawn out a bit. I do think that, is it Lorna Dern, the actress? She's very good.
Yeah.
But I do agree that they sucker punched us with that. You almost thought she was a bad guy through part of it. And then
Yeah.
it actually wasn't. And it's kind of like dumb. It was a waste of my time, really, distracting me with that, you know. And then and it was all on the same side in the end, which is craziness. And then I think Admiral Akbar just got blown up. It was such a missed opportunity to use a character they could have developed and done something with in the future. That's something I wish they'd done. The other thing is that I grew up, I was born in 1978, so the original Star Wars was 1977, watching the original trilogy, like a lot of us. And to me, Luke Skywalker was the ultimate sci-fi hero. That's what he was, right? And Darth Vader was the awesome bad guy, right? Because Darth Vader was nondescript. He was completely in armor. You couldn't see his face. You didn't know who he was, what he looked like. That was just awesome, right? And I think that from that to this, and it's kind of like we don't have that mystery with anyone anymore. Snoke got practically no development. He just killed him off.
Yeah, what was that? That was like that was definitely like a jerk tease. Like you made it seem like he's bigger than what he should be, and then it's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
You know, I'm actually okay with what happened with Snoke. Because it's for an overarching focus on Kylo Ren's character. And I like the parallel that Luke was not able to strike down the Emperor, but Kylo Ren did strike down Snoke. So I like that aspect that, okay, you know, he was able to go and do what that couldn't be done. The big thing for me was, leave the ending the way it was. All that shit, all of it could have been you know, a little bit tweaked differently, just a little bit. But you could have left that entire thing with Snoke and Rey and Kylo Ren exactly the way it was. The ending that I wanted would have been Luke not being a Force vision to the others. Him being there for real. And when Kylo, you know, him surviving all those phaser blasts and everything, and then doing the brush off on the shoulder, and then Kylo going down, and then the two actually having the lightsaber battle. If we had gotten that, that would have been redeeming enough for me. Knowing that Luke went into a situation he knew he was going to die, and he did it sacrificing his friends.
Yeah.
Sacrificing himself, save his friends. That would have been the ultimate perfect way for that character to pass on.
So I've just got some questions from the viewers here, guys, if you want to just take some of those. So,
sure.
Let's do it.
Got a question here from Two Can Play That. Two Can Play That says, if you were given the job of writing Luke out, how would you have done it? So what I'm going to say just quickly is, personally, that's the last thing I'd want to do. I wanted to keep him in. But I'm going to say, all in a blow. Do you want to answer that one first?
I think if they were going to write him out, I wouldn't want to write him out. I don't want to get rid of Luke. It's Luke. But if you've got to write him out, I think what Steve said is pretty spot on, really, because having him as a hologram sucked. If he'd have, knowing as well that, you know, how powerful Luke Skywalker is, he could have been there and done all of that.
Yeah.
He had actually got the power to do that anyway. So the fact that they stuck him on a cliff and made him use all of his energy and all of his force to do that and then kill him by it happening kind of sucked, because he could have just been there and not died, because he wouldn't have had to use or exert all that energy to project himself there when he could have just been there himself and just done it anyway.
I would give you exactly the same answer that you've just given, so I won't repeat it.
I want to see Luke go out from drinking that funky milk. It wasn't pasteurized.
Lactose intolerant.
Yes. He'd got like some kind of dysentery or something, and just like, milk.
No. But yeah, honestly, for me, I would have had Luke actually appear there. And when Kylo Ren went down to face him one-on-one, it would have been an epic lightsaber battle. It would have been something for the collective fans to just gasp and ooh and awe about. Skywalker, for him to die, losing to Kylo Ren. Because the thing is, after killing Snoke and then killing Luke Skywalker, this legend that's pervaded the universe, you're then pushing that Kylo Ren arc to new depths. But what did you do? What did they do with that? Oh, okay. Luke disappears because he's a Force vision. He dies on another planet entirely on a cliff. Just disappears. So Kylo Ren looks like an absolute punk bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on. Kylo Ren is like the epitome of just like emo. He's just everything. He's emo. He's emo. He's just like he wears a mask, but he has no scars. So it's like the mask it looks good, but it's not necessary. So that's kind of like an emo thing of, I need to show that I'm brooding and I have issues and I'm mysterious.
Now I got to disagree with you there, because you see, the thing is, the whole driving point for him is emulating his grandfather.
Yeah, that's part of
trying to live up to that, and for him to embody that, maybe that's what he needs. But the thing is, Adam Driver's character, one of the biggest things I love about the character is that whereas Jedi and that keep their emotions so in check, he's been forced to use his emotions to the fullest extent from the dark side training. So yeah, he has outbursts. He's uncontrollable. He's mentally unstable because of it. But he's an incredibly powerful character. Like, did you see any other characters ever able to stop a laser blast mid-flight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Like, that to me.
But Darth Vader did stop it with his hand.
He did stop it with the hand though. But no, I would say.
But yeah, metal hands.
I'll give you that, and I would say part of that probably would be like the whole revelation of Luke trying to take him out. So yeah, I'd probably be kind of pissed off too if my uncle tried to kill me. So I could kind of see his mindset of how he kind of sees things, because it's like, damn, I thought we were family. Like, shit, you trying to kill me?
Yeah, there was just a number of inconsistencies, a lot of things that really bothered me. And encompassing part of that is part of Episode 7. And like I said, overall, I love Episode 7. The problem is the time frame. If you look at the time frame, like we were discussing beforehand, Episode 7 and Episode 8 all happened within a 2-week period.
Yeah.
So these things are all the things that happened in Episode 7 just literally happened a few days before Episode 8. So Han is dead. Kylo's now having a change of heart. It's just, it seems like they rushed things when they didn't have to. They really should have had a story that could have stretched out even a couple months, kind of like they did with Luke and his training. It was a few months of being on Dagobah with Yoda and stuff like this. Whereas my biggest beef is the character of Rey is so powerful in the Force that in less than 2 weeks from living on a desert planet all her life, having no combat skills, just bested a guy who spent all his life training.
Yeah.
She'd never started up a lightsaber before then, and she owned his ass.
Well, because she's a Mary Sue. What do you want?
No, hell no. No, I'm sorry. I'm all for the female character. I love the character of Rey. I think that if they would have made it a little more plausible by logical storytelling, then the character would have been just that much more fantastic, because she's a great character in her own right.
Yeah.
But if you had stretched the story of Episode 7 and Episode 8 out to, say, a couple months, given a little bit of time, some training in there, so on and so forth, then it's a viable movie. But what they did with episode 8 was basically shit on the fans and insulted their intelligence.
Comments, guys, from the viewers, just quickly. So I've got a comment here from Antronus Nexus. He says, "I'm with Six Shot. Luke should have stayed. And I'm surprised that they keep Leia alive considering her sad passing." So I guess that was a directorial decision. Also, we've got a comment here from Beefy. He says, "Having Luke as a Force ghost will be cool. Maybe being a Force ghost unlocks the potential to be more powerful than the mortal realm." So that's pretty interesting. And FU75 FPV says, "It's okay to be a hologram. I'm so triggered right now." Okay. It says, "Yeah, the way Luke died was underwhelming." And Tronus Nexus says that he's hyped on the green milk.
No,
I love that.
My biggest problem again is that. Oh, okay.
Next question. To complete that, has said, "What do you think of Kylo and Rey being able to communicate with each other? Why and how?"
Well, I mean, me personally, I'm like, I think when they decided to do this, because everybody had their theories of what Rey was, like who she related to, how does she possess, the Force powers. And, the writers, producers, whoever decided to flip it on us and like, nope, it's not what you think. She's not a Skywalker. She's not a Solo. She's none of this. And then the relationship between her and Kylo is just like, okay, are they going to bone? Are they just going to bone? Because that's...
Well,
film, actually. It's like, suddenly they go off set, everyone else is fighting. It's like, where are those guys? Oh, they're smashing around the back, can't you?
Yeah. Over there getting a good snug going on right about now.
I gotta say, Kylo and Rey being able to communicate isn't unusual. I like the fact that they were able to add more so that they could visually see each other. But the communication between others over a long distance has been fairly canon right from the beginning between Darth Vader and Luke and Leia being able to hear each other's thoughts and talk to each other and so on and so forth. So that's not a far stretch. As for the whole swerve, I think the Rey's parents is not the truth of what they revealed, because they're the supposed junkers and junkies and alcoholics or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. The fact is, the ship that left her there was a pretty pristine, very good ship. There was nothing wrong with it. It's great condition. It's not a cheap ship or whatever. They left her there for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think it's a complete lie as to what Kylo Ren said. And again, he's the bad guy. He's going to say whatever he's going to say to try to get her to join him. So telling her that her parents are nobodies, just gives that character that much more desolation and less hope.
Saying he's trying to break her down so he can get into her pants.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing.
There we go. Yeah,
break her down first. Tell her she's nothing. Come with me, and I will show you the way, and then we can bang. Did you not see me take my shirt off?
You know so much about this. You know so much about this.
Hey, come on! If you were Kylo Ren, would you not want to get into Rey's panties there? Like, come on, Daisy Ridley is hot.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think he popped his shirt off? Check me out. Look at my pecs is popping. I got the dad pants on over the belly button. Like, come on. Like, listen, the force does a body good. Like,
right? It was forcing.
He's like, this is what, he's trying to like, this is what you get on the dark side, right here. Like, is Luke popping abs like this? I don't think so.
Nice. Next question. We've been asked here. When Rey went into the dark zone, right? and it was like a mirror. The question is,
Yeah.
did she vanish? Did she like physically vanish when she went into the dark side? Right, because it was a light side island, wasn't it? Effectively, all but this one place that affected the dark side. So it's like a mirror image of the light side of the Force. What do you reckon?
You know, I think the actual premise, like they gave it away in the fact that it's the Last Jedi, and they are going to be taking the series more into the path of the Way of the Wills. For those that aren't aware of the Clone Wars cartoon and the Rebels cartoon, the Wills, WHILLS, is kind of the all-encompassing, the light and the dark side, producing the gray. And I think that's where the entire series is kind of heading to, that it's not as restrictive as you're a Sith and you're a Jedi. It's number of people can be Force users. They don't necessarily have to follow a particular path.
Well, that's what I always thought being a Jedi and a Sith was. Is like, it's just a matter of, do you want to be a badass or you want to, maintain peace? But it's like, either way, you have this power to, manipulate minds and force push, lightning, all that. That's what always got me about a Jedi. Like, Sith or Jedi, like, it doesn't matter. Either way, you have that ability to just do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? And the whole cave thing, I looked at that as kind of almost the way when Luke was in, training with Yoda, and he goes into the cave, and Yoda tells him, you see what, you bring to it, kind of the same way, almost kind of like a mirror image of that same scenario where she goes in and, whatever she brings in with it is what she's going to get out of it. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. The next question here is about the Skywalker saber, right? Why did it have to be destroyed?
It was closing that chapter of the book. It was closing off that legacy. That was really the only thing left, and that was just a symbolic way of closing it off for good.
Yeah,
and it gives Rey now the ability to make her own saber and start her own legacy.
Yeah, but it was still nice. Like, it's one of those things. Like, that saber just has carried on for so long. I don't even think it was like even really that necessary, honestly.
Actually, that's the same saber. Remember, that was Anakin Skywalker's.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's like it's just been something that's been around. Like, hell, even when Luke got it, eventually he figured his own saber out, but he still kept his pop's shit. You ain't supposed to throw away your pop shit. Come on, You keep it as it's a memento. It's like, hey, this is a time when my pops used to be not a dick. I'm gonna hold on to that. But at the same time, I made my own because I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to rock his shit. I'm going to make my own shit, but I'm still going to keep this as a reminder of what he used to be and what he could still,
and that's precisely
what he could still be at the time. You know what I mean? When he kept saying there's still good in you. So, this is the totem that, proves that, at one time you used to be somebody that I could look up to.
You see, and that's precisely why it had to be destroyed, because it's end of the legacy, and more to the point, and the thing that Disney really wants to do is end the Skywalker saga, because Luke's gone; he's a Force ghost now. Leia obviously died in real life; she's not going to be back in Episode 9, so you have no more Skywalkers left other than Kylo Ren.
I think she'd recorded about half of Episode 9 before she passed. So I think there is going to be some bits of Leia in that one, but not a lot. And they've got to try and figure a way out of nicely.
Yeah, because they said they weren't going to computer animate her. So it would suck if they just killed her in the crawl, though. If they do that, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
No, I think what'll happen is probably within the first 10 minutes, they'll have some of the shot footage that wasn't used previously. There'll be something there, and something will be happening, and then bang. And she'll go out in a blaze of glory kind of thing that way. The only logical way you can go with it. The big thing is, and I know it seems like they're trying to just kill the Skywalker story altogether, but the fact is, one of the legacy characters is Kylo Ren. And I got a feeling that the ultimate swerve for Episode 9 is the fact that Rey saw in her Force vision that Kylo Ren was going to turn, and he did, and slayed Snoke. What hasn't been seen yet is Ren's vision of her turning.
Yeah.
And I think the two are going to be switching, and I think Kylo Ren, or, Ben Solo, will reclaim his heritage as a Skywalker.
Yeah, but can you really redeem yourself after you jabbed your own father, though? Because that's kind of a hard leap to take. Like, okay, you killed your father, then all of a sudden, hey, I'm good now. But it's like, that's still kind of on the table. You killed your dad,
Sure. But if the hero that everyone's praising right now, Rey, ends up switching and becomes the big bad, and Kylo Ren's having to defend from her, it's that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
The big turnaround thing.
But he still needs redemption, though. He'll still need to do something to really redeem himself, to be like, you know what? Even though you did this,
and possibly saving the galaxy from Rey might be enough of a redemption arc. Who knows? I honestly believe that the whole arc of this trilogy isn't Rey. Not at all. I think it's Kylo Ren.
Let me ask you this: if it was true, she was going to be a villain. Okay, which I doubt it's going to be the case. But let's just, for argument's sake, say she was. One of the questions just been asked was, do you think she'd have like a double-bladed lightsaber?
No, I don't think so. I think she's going to realize that her staff has a lightsaber built into it.
What do you reckon?
Because remember that staff
makes some kind of extension for her staff, not that it is one already.
No, if you take a look at some of the close-up pictures of it and whatnot from in-canon character, that staff was previously used, and it is a lightsaber.
Never even thought of that.
Yeah, it's something that she's had all this time and whatnot, and didn't actually realize.
Something to chew on right there.
Yeah,
well, we got Mike Case, and he's just raised a couple of points actually for us. One of the points was that actually he hasn't decided yet, but The Last Jedi might well be his favourite Star Wars movie, so that's interesting. We'll come back in a minute and just ask us which is our favourites and why. But before we do, he made another point, which was that Jedi didn't necessarily marry to have kids, and that that effectively one of the big criticisms of The Last Jedi is that we didn't get to find out who the progeny of obviously Rey was. Okay, so who her parents were. But in actual fact, it could quite easily be the case that she just happens to be Force sensitive and it wasn't inherited. Now, what do you guys think of that?
I actually have a different theory entirely. My theory is that Rey is a Kenobi.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah, that's been on the table for a while too.
No, I think she is the granddaughter, because one of the things, and this is the interesting thing that's going to be coming about, is they're doing the Obi-Wan Kenobi movies.
Yeah,
and those are going to take place in between Episode 3 and Episode 4, and there's a 20-year gap there, and it's already shown in the Rebel cartoon series that he was not just a hermit. He would actually go and do stuff in between that time. So the movies are going to be fleshing that out. It's shown him having a love interest. It's shown that things could have happened. So yeah, I honestly believe she's a Kenobi.
Well, as long as she ain't coming up with high counts of midichlorians, I'll take anything.
Yeah, they're staying away from the midichlorians, sadly. But well, I'm really happy they're staying away from that. But for the caliber of storytelling for Episode 8, and I think this is going to enrage a lot of people, I actually like the prequels more.
Blasphemy!
No, I'm sorry. The storytelling in Episode 1, 2, and 3 is more coherent and more logical and simple.
I see.
Episode 8.
I would call you a motherfucker, but I'm gonna call you a Jar Jar Binks. You Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, you keep that up, jabroni.
Hey, listen, I am no jabroni.
So just had a comment from Antronus Nexus. I show you my lightsaber, you show me your pork. Got a comment from Snow.
What did he say?
Tap says a staff somewhat looks like Prince Xizor's staff. Now, do you guys know who Prince Xizor is?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Because us boys that read all the old books, legend books, we know who he is.
Yeah, I don't go that deep.
Yeah.
I don't go that deep into it.
But I honestly believe that her staff, through all of it that she's had, is a lightsaber.
Right.
Just a very long staff that has a lightsaber effect to it. So imagine, they need to do something new. I think that's the way they're going to do it.
Yeah. So all this time, her staff has been a lightsaber, but she didn't know.
Yeah, because someone knew she was a Force sensitive. That's why she got dumped there, and because for her own protection, similar to Luke, but she had her own lightsaber or someone else's lightsaber so that she could eventually grow to use it and protect herself.
What's your guys' view on Rose in the film? Do you think she added a lot to the film? Do you think she was a waste of time? What's your overall thoughts?
Rose, I think, is she had like 3 purposes in that film. She added a love interest for Finn, who wasn't Poe Dameron.
No. Hold on, time out. Because Finn's all about Rey. Finn's all about Rey. Come on now. She's trying to get up in there, but Finn was all about Rey.
Well,
and that's the part that gets me. It's like, because you kind of established that in The Force Awakens that he was about Rey. We all seen it. He had that doughy-eyed look in his eye when he was with her, that he was feeling her like that. Even when, like, the battle between him and Kylo, he picked up the saber. He didn't even know what to do. He's like, fuck it, I'm just swinging. It didn't help him out much, but at least he tried. So to sit there and throw in a new character and say, now you're with her, no, because he's all about Rey. Like,
to be fair,
that was the first thing he said when he woke up.
It was kind of like it was like, we'll give you this character as a love interest, but even she knew that she had no chance.
I think it's
she
a bit
kisses him, and she's kind of like, there's nothing there.
It's a triad. It's a triad because he likes her, but she likes him, right? That's what it is. And I think actually she's a very good actress. First thing I would like to say, I think she was in there because of, as you said, the PC thing. They've got to keep the diversity going. And I think it flopped in China. I heard something about, so that's a shame. Yeah. That happened.
Well, I actually saw an article that was done about that in the news. And China in particular, you throw up SJW crap, they will abandon it. And they did. And I'm really hoping Disney's paying attention to this and just saw the largest market in the world go, fuck you. Because you want to do this crap, screw you, we won't give you our money.
They do a lot of stuff in China, to be fair. They do. They
What's
give
that?
it so long. In China, they give it so long, and if it doesn't, float people's boat in a short time, no matter what it is, they pull it.
Well, too bad
Yeah,
the
but
Chinese didn't have that same attitude with the damn Transformer movies.
Yeah, no doubt. No, but the thing is that Star Wars Episode 7 did phenomenal numbers over there. It was great. It did fantastic, and it had a good run. However, when you get Star Wars Episode 8, it opened to good numbers. It had a strong first few days. Then word got out about it, and the people would not go see it. So this is where I'm really, really hoping Disney decides to drop the whole PC effort and get back to just letting Star Wars be Star Wars.
Yeah.
No PC, no political.
But next question, you've got a point coming back to Rose. That said, you have the opening scene with Rose's sister. That scene with the bombs dropping, she had the pendant and built up energy, very cool, right? But also, I'm seeing that I was saying could have done with this is from Holster now. Could have done with at least a few more scenes with the sister to build a bit of character development, so there'd be more connection to understand the loss.
I would have done away with the entire subplot because I'm sorry. One, the bombs dropping. How the hell did it drop? Freaking gravity in space. How are they dropping? No,
well, that's a good point. I'm going to guess.
No, I'm sorry. That entire scene was ridiculous.
It's and set from the whole film.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say ridiculous is Finn chooses to try to sacrifice himself, and she's telling him not to, but then she comes in and tries to sacrifice herself for love, and it's like, what?
The thing is, that entire subplot with her and Finn on that planet was about 20 minutes too long. I don't mind the idea of the they could have cut it all. And honestly, for the storytelling, they should have. Because the whole thing with Benicio del Toro was a complete freaking waste. You got a phenomenal actor who's can be an amazing villain, and he's a lockpick guy that screwed them over.
Well,
should have had a V8 there.
Well,
who the fuck wrote that?
To be honest, Benicio del Toro just has that face of "I'm gonna turn on you anyway." He just has that look of don't trust me. Period.
No, but the thing is that when they go down to that planet there, there's that whole SJW thing again, and this is what really pisses me off, the hypocrisy of it all, is they have to free all of these animals, and they're doing it, and she's like, this was for the greater good, but they leave all the slave kids.
Yeah, that wasn't the best, was it? That wasn't the best. I was kind of hoping at the end of the film maybe they'd have had some rebels come and rescue them or something,
No.
Something, anything. But no, they free the animals, which either died when they went off that cliff or they got recaptured. Whereas the kids, sentient beings who are slaves, who you think Finn would be able to relate to and understand, they're subjugated like I was in the First Order. Let's take care of them. No. Let's save the brainless animals that are going to get caught again right quick because, animal rights stuff. No, save the fucking sentient kids. No, that entire thing was the most nonsensical writing, and all I want to do is find out who wrote that, bash their head in, and say, are you smarter now?
Hey, guys, did any of you guys know that that Mark Hamill is actually the Fallen in Transformers Power of the Primes cartoon? Because I didn't know that. I've just seen it in
he is.
Tronus Primes, just mentioned it in the comments. That's awesome.
Well, the man's a great voice actor. The man's a great voice actor, so you can't, I wouldn't be against it. So
yeah, there's a few big names that's going to be in that cartoon. I know Mark Hamill was one of them, and there's a few others as well.
A couple of other points has just come through. People like that and Mike Case have just confirmed that it was magnetic propulsion that locked onto the Star Destroyer thing that the bombs work on. They basically sort of lock them on, and then they magnetise, and it was confirmed in the visual guide that told us that.
But the fact that you have to explain it in an official guide, that you can't explain it in the movie. No, the average moviegoer is not going to grab the official guide to get an explanation as to why that happened. No, they should be able to think basic logistics. If, say for the sake of argument, those bombs had some minor propulsion units on it, just a little bit to shoot them in a specific direction, I'm okay with that. It's a little bit of extra work, but it makes sense then. No, the sad fact is, you saw a ship go into hyperspace into another ship, and I'm thinking, well, why the hell don't they have missiles that can go into hyperspace then?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Then, dreadnoughts and everything, they're all gone then. There's your weapons. Instead of trying to drop something, shoot it at it. It goes into hyperspace and splits the damn thing apart.
So
this is the storytelling. It's all so lazy. Episode 8 is the laziest writing of all.
So Cliff Jacker says, wasn't saving the rabbit horses mainly an escape plan rather than trying to save them? So it was just sort of.
Oh, that's why they released all of them. Yeah, no, they made a specific point. Rose made a specific point. We have to free them all.
Yeah,
that was the whole social justice warrior agenda. She was making that point. They had to be freed. No, it wasn't an escape plan. If it was just an escape plan, I'm cool with that. But it wasn't. That was an agenda, and they put it on screen, and fuck them for it.
So tell me how you really feel.
I felt like such a little girl.
Oh man, this is brilliant.
The freed animals have probably starved to death because animals kept in captivity have a hard time surviving in the wild.
Wait, what?
There you go.
I didn't hear anything of that.
So Holson85 just said that the escaped animals would probably starve because they have a hard time surviving in the wild after they've been in captivity.
Yeah, exactly. There's multiple reasons why that didn't work and why it shows how stupid feminists are.
Touche.
So just had another comment from Cliff Jacker who said, releasing all of them as a distraction too, along with it being a good deed. I guess that's a point because it's what's the old word now? It's target saturation, I think is the term. So you get like a lot of targets. It's very hard to hit the one they want. Maybe that was part of the thinking.
This actually reminds me of something from another movie, a fantastic movie, in fact, The Dark Knight. And it was a scene specifically with Heath Ledger when he was talking to Two-Face. And he was explaining. He goes, if I go on the news and say 10 gangbangers are going to die, fine. But if I go on the news and say one little whatever, dog, cat, something, everyone loses their mind. And that's exactly the same scenario here. Oh, you can't save the slave children, but releasing all of these captivated creatures into the wild where they're likely going to die or be recaptured very quickly, that's the smart thing to do. I have no respect for feminists because they're idiots.
It's cancer.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely agree with Milo on that.
Yeah, it is cancer. Cho and Charles just joined the comments as well. How you doing, guys?
Hey.
Yo.
Hey.
What's up?
Okay, so we've kind of come to a point now. I wanted to ask another question, which was about if we was going to rank all of the Star Wars movies, right? A quick round the table. Which is your favourite? Which is your least favourite? So, all in a blur. You go first. In which order, though?
Oh.
Is it that hard?
5. 5, 6, 4. Then probably Rogue One.
Same. so I don't need to say anything.
I would have to say Empire, Return. I actually liked Revenge of the Sith, believe it or not.
Not bad.
Rogue One, and I'll say The Force Awakens and New Hope. I don't, other than that, the other two, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, I don't talk about those.
You know, I've got to go with obviously Empire is my favorite.
We all
Then
say
it's
the
followed
same
by
one.
Empire, then Rogue One, 4, then Episode 6, then 1, 2, and 3, then 7, then 8.
So the interesting thread
Oh,
here,
and I want to drop an honorable mention to Rebels because that is a great fucking show.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
show.
But for strict movies, though,
Yeah,
you know,
but
like you got to include Rebels and the Clone Wars and that, like, fantastic shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. But the interesting thread between us is not only do we all like Empire the best, but we also all really like Rogue One a lot.
I can't.
you
Go ahead.
You go. I'll let you go first.
I just can't say enough about how great Rogue One is. It is everything that I wanted out of a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
The casting was incredible. The characters well defined. The storytelling was brisk. It made sense. It had a logical conclusion. It was incredible, start to finish. I just edge of my seat, loved it, and that's why I rank it so high as my second favorite. Actually, out of all of the Star Wars movies, it is legitimately my second favorite. And then obviously A New Hope, because that whole ending there with Darth Vader at the end and then leading in just showed how much of a true badass he really is. You can't ask for more.
I liked Rogue One for the simple fact, like, it always answered my question of, like, how did they get the Death Star built? How did everything come to where we started in A New Hope? That, to me, was what I liked about it. It was funny. That also, like, you don't expect a Star Wars movie to be kind of funny. That was good. And just the whole, like, it definitely set the tone of what you were to expect from A New Hope, because it basically is like that last scene is literally the start of A New Hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. I love how.
Yeah. But, I one of my favorite characters in there was Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes,
he was fantastic. And, the logistical thought of that character building the flaw in and doing it small enough that it went unnoticed.
Yeah, that too.
Brilliant storytelling. There was logic there. There was knowing what the source material is, working with it, and telling something fantastic. Picking, filling some plot holes and putting it all together, and then mixing it out and throwing in some amazing actors who kicked ass.
Yeah, that was
is Forrest Whitaker. And when I saw that he was in it, I was ecstatic. And my only real bummer is that he wasn't in it enough. And the way that he I was like, oh, can we not have something else?
Yeah, a bit more.
He's a great actor. And like I said, like he was saying, like the whole, I love it that it's like, you know what, I had to reluctantly build the Death Star, but I'm gonna fuck you over in the end. I'm gonna do the job for you, but I'm gonna give you a half-ass job. So just in case you actually get this ball rolling, I'm gonna make sure that somebody could come along and shit in your Wheaties.
Right, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
So
no, I really do. I really do believe Rogue One is one of the top Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I want more of that.
And honestly, it doesn't really get the credit it deserves. Like a lot of people it's kind of a mixed bag for some people. Like they don't, I guess because, we're so used to Jedi that to have a movie that's like almost Jedi free, but it still held its own though.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. More so than some, actually. Rogue One is head and shoulders better than any of episode 1, 2, and 3. And I really did enjoy the last half of Revenge of the Sith. But Rogue One is the true successor to a Star Wars movie that we haven't seen since the original trilogy, and that's why I perceive now it's a quadrilogy, and Rogue One is for me the progenitor of it.
Yeah,
it is just
more like that. And you know, I didn't go back and do more on Vader's castle, right? That was nuts, right?
Epic.
I mean, if we're gonna go that route,
Absolutely.
like with Rogue One, I'd like to see them go even further back. Like, I want some Knights of the Old Republic type shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm playing that game right now again for the third time, and it's still as good as it was when I played it how many years ago. I would like to see that. I would like to see that turned into a movie, because that's some real mythology right there.
Well, it's the next logical step for another branching series, and I think that Disney is going to capitalize on that and end up making the Knights of the Old Republic. I think that's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Bring it back to Rebels. Got a question from Two Can Play It That. He says, "Will Kanan and Ezra survive the last season of Rebels? Is there anyone left?"
Logically, if you really want to think it, like, go that route, I would have to say they probably won't, because we hear nothing about them now. Even though there was a little Easter egg, I think it was in Rebels, of the ghosts. Like, you could barely see it, but the ship was there.
Yeah.
I actually have a theory on that too. I think he does survive, and honestly, I think he eventually becomes Snoke.
Or just one of them. I can't both.
What's that?
Which one?
No, I'm thinking Kanan.
Yeah.
I think he does survive, and I think he ends up being Snoke.
Wow.
That's possible.
It seems like a far stretch, but it's just from what I've seen of the character and in relation to Snoke, and where the story's going and how far out he would have to go. I think that is a kind of a logical conclusion. I don't think he makes it out unscathed. I think he's scarred and damaged really badly, because the Snoke that we saw in Episode 8 was not 7 feet. He was an average-sized man. It was just a full projection and whatnot. So I think he was just a scarred individual who went through something very traumatic, is a Force user. I think he ended up going to the furthest reaches to survive, and came back en masse and took over. So he was there to see it all.
We've got some more points. Cho just said he actually really thinks that 8 could have been one of his favourites if Finn's missions didn't fail over and over, and if Luke died in person. So we've kind of covered, we all agree that Luke's dying the way he did wasn't quite what we wanted.
Yeah, it was a bitch movie.
It was a whimper. It was a whimper, and he should have went out a lion.
But what about the other point? What about Finn's failure with his mission and ended up with Del Toro screwing him over? I mean, what do you think of that?
I just think that, I don't mind the idea of the character failing, because guess what? People fail in real life. It happens. And I like that portrayal. I like how that's being represented. I think majority of that subplot was useless. I think they could have gone there, done a little bit, 10 minutes max for it. And then the Del Toro character was a complete waste. They should have used him as an entirely different character in the First Order, as a big bad. I would have thought being the next big bad, someone to take over for Snoke when he died.
What do you reckon, Smith?
When it comes to Finn, I look at Finn as he's a character who I don't think he's even sure of himself, because, just from Force Awakens, he's already having thoughts of what he's doing in the First Order. And it's like just that first initial scene, and he's seeing all the bloodshed, and he's got the blood on his helmet, and he's already like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I shouldn't be here, man. Like, what am I doing here? Like, his whole character is just somebody who's just kind of playing it as he goes along. He's just like, which way am I going? This way? Okay, I'll do that. So his character to me just seemed like, you know what, I'm just gonna go where they tell me to, and I'll figure it out from there. You know, I'll cross that bridge when I get there type attitude.
Well, he even tried to escape, didn't he? He tried to just run away from it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just tried to run away from it all, and you know, then they give us that weak ass Phasma. Like speaking of Phasma, they really tried to push Phasma like she was the next best goddamn thing. Like she was the
Boba Fett.
Yeah, she was Boba Fett 2.0, and then what they do with her? Not a goddamn thing.
Mhm.
We said
No,
the same thing.
Yeah.
They put the rocket so far up her ass, you would have thought she was gonna be the bounty hunter Jedi, super soldier, everything, like to the point of look at my outfit. It's chrome. Like check me out. Like everybody's wearing the basic white. I'm chromed out with the cape. You know, I'm the shit and a half. You know, and nothing. Did nothing with it. They did nothing with her in The Force Awakens. They did nothing with her in this one. It was just like, what was the point? Like you pushed her to that point, like marketing wise, like you made it so everybody wanted to, like, oh, Phasma. That's all you kept hearing before The Force Awakens came out. Phasma. And then what did we get? Get in there. You know, like, oh, you're gonna regret this. You know, get your ass in the trap.
Just a limp showing.
Get the trash
completely limp showing. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Gwendolyn is such a great actress, right? And she's so good in Game of Thrones. And you think, given the opportunity to portray a great character in the show, I'm sure she could have been great. But they covered her up completely. Couldn't see her, so it's very hard to act under all that stuff.
Yeah.
It worked for certain characters. Like Boba Fett, it worked because in the original trilogy, he didn't do any acting. He was just there with a very dry voice, didn't say a lot, didn't do a lot, overrated, really. And yet, you kind of feel like she is a proper actor, could have done something, and all you get is an eye. That's all you see is an eye.
Yeah, it's wasted potential. That's what it is. It's wasted potential.
Another aspect, bringing back some point to Finn, and this is going back to episode 7. And I don't know if a lot of people actually realize this completely, but the whole awakening happened on Jakku during that village slaughter.
Yeah.
And noticed FN 2187. And he goes up to the ship and he says, "Did you feel the awakening?" And he goes, "Yes." Well, guess what? This all happened well before Rey was ever introduced. She is not the character that did the awakening of the Force. So Finn is actually the main Force-sensitive guy, the awakening that they felt.
Yeah. So,
you know, his character, I think, because of that, and then how they dealt with him in episode 8 was such, and I can't stress this enough, the entire script and telling was so limp through episode 8, from the story of Rey and how they portrayed that, to Finn, to Rose, to Poe Dameron, to Laura Dern's character, to Luke Skywalker. It was a limp showing right off the hop, and it should have been a lion's roar. And, you know, Rian Johnson, I love his previous work. In this one, he fucked up, and he fucked up big.
So, got a question from Two Can Play at that. He says, if Luke could close himself off from the Force, could there be other Jedi out there at the time of Episode 8 that were closed off from the Force and still in hiding from Order 66's time?
Absolutely, and the Rebels show showed there were a number of Jedi that were, you know, throughout the Clone Wars series and the Rebels and stuff. There are other Force-sensitive, you know, characters, probably Jedis as well, that did survive and just closed themselves off. So I think it's completely plausible, and more could be cropping up.
And kind of to go back to the whole Luke thing, I think part of it too, the whole, you know, his astral projection that he did, I think it kind of goes back to, let's be real, the Jedi Order is a very flawed order. Like, they always seem to make the wrong fucking choices.
Yeah.
And I think part of that, and I think that's what they was trying to do with this with Luke, that Luke finally realized that, you know what, the Jedi way isn't always the right way, because we seem to keep fucking it up every chance we get all the way
That-
down
that-
from
Yeah.
all the way down from picking Anakin till now.
Yeah.
We've always made the wrong choice.
That
But you
brings
see,
us back to
and here's
that I missed actually just quickly before we got to that point is that Ray took a book, didn't she?
She did.
Talk about
She took
that.
all
so,
of them.
So what do you think she's going to do with that now?
She took all the Jedi books out of the none of them were in there when Yoda. Oh my God, the Force goes calling down fucking Force lightning.
That was a
Oh yeah, let's just
I
push the
love
incredulousness
Yoda.
a little bit more.
I love that they brought Yoda back.
that was a Jesus moment. It's like,
Bringing Yoda back was awesome as a Force ghost. Having him calling down the Force lightning was idiocy. You know, like again, that whole aspect. If Yoda had been there and really guided Luke, Luke would have burned the damn thing down, and then made the resolve in his character to stand up like a true man and go face this shit and do what was necessary. Instead, he hit on another planet, stretched his fucking Force powers, and then disappeared because he extended himself too much. It was a whimper, and it should have been a roar.
So the consensus from the comments in the chat is that we all agree that Phasma should have definitely had a lot more exposure, should have been made a lot more of it, and
Yeah.
we just didn't get it. So we all want more of Phasma. Probably not going to happen now by the looks of it, unfortunately. What a shame with that. But there's a question from Beaky who said, in Battlefront 2, Iden Versio's daughter helped Leia to search for the Allies in the unknown regions. Why didn't anyone come? You guys play Battlefront 2?
Nah, I can't play that because I'm not paying to win. Fuck EA, and I'm a heavy gamer, and just the way EA went about that whole with the game, it rubbed me the wrong way. So I stayed clear away from it. So,
which game is this?
Battlefront, Star Wars.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
I'm a COD man. I'm a WWE 2K guy, so that's my bag.
I love it.
My Star Wars thing is the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes game. I've been playing that for a couple of years, actually. So,
like I said, I had to go back to Knights of the Old Republic to get a good Star Wars game. So,
yeah.
For a mobile game, trust me, Galaxy of Heroes, give it a try. I think you'll have a hell of a time. It's a lot of fun. And it is a free to play. You can pay to get stuff early, but it is actually pretty awesome.
I'm sorry. When it comes to mobile games, I'm stuck on Pokemon Go.
It's the campaign on Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2 on PS4 and Xbox One. I used to play the original Battlefronts back in the original Xbox days, and I loved all that. I agree EA need to go and suck a Georgia peach because seriously they did mess up, and thankfully they changed it, but it still messed the game up. So I don't really play online. I just like to play the campaigns, and once I've finished with those, I'm pretty done.
I mean, hell, if we're gonna go the game route, shit, give me some Star Killer in the Star Wars movies. I'll take some of that.
Yeah,
Star Killer was a bad motherfucker, man.
Yeah. Too bad it's not canon, but
hey, well, that's why history's told by the winners. You can rewrite it.
Yeah.
Jojo made a point. He said, messy film in a lot of ways. I wonder if that happens when you let one man write and direct, or if it's from the people above him forcing plot points into his movie. And that's interesting because Disney took over. They obviously have a lot of creative control if they want it. What do you reckon? I think it's down to them.
It's well noted that Rian Johnson did have the final right on it and did make a lot of changes to the original script he was given. He was given a base, like he even described in an interview, he was given more of a base outline and was allowed to use his own sensibilities to fill in a lot of the detail. And that was the same thing with J.J. Abrams, with Lawrence Kasdan. on Episode 7, and I think Lawrence, what happened there in Episode 7, I think was a really great, safe movie. It was a love note to the fans. It really helped get it back out there, and it hit a lot of the points of Episode 4, and it's tried and true. It worked, and it got a lot of fans excited again. But it could take it in a new way. And that's where Rian Johnson had to pick up the ball, and he fucking dropped it. And now J.J. Abrams is going to have to try to fix his fuck up. And I'm sorry, I think J.J. Abrams is a stronger writer and director than Rian Johnson. And Rian Johnson, for me, I'm sorry, I'm really sour on the guy, because if this is the caliber of his writing and this is the way he thinks of things logically, I don't want him touching another Star Wars movie. I don't want him touching a fucking potato gun. Okay.
So just had a question.
Seriously.
From Cliff Jackie says, have we ever seen a Force Ghost affect the physical world before?
No.
Has that ever happened?
No, they were not able to. It has been shown from Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was a Force Ghost, did not affect any of the physical surrounding. Same with Yoda, so on and so forth. The Force Ghosts could not. They could project, they could see a visage, but there was no substance, there was no power, and they had no physical effect on anything around.
That's not true, because Obi-Wan sat down on the log. So you gotta have something to sit down on. Come on now,
I'm sorry, that's a bit of a straw man argument.
I know, I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm just fucking with you.
No, but the thing is, that argument has been put to me already. And I think that's a complete straw man argument. Because wherever his ghost is, in whatever realm, could he not simulate sitting down as well? It's a 50-50 kind of thing on that. Are they calling down force powers in another realm that they're breaching with their ghost? No, I don't think so.
So the answer is no for you. And what do you think, Smith? You got a view?
I agree with him. I mean, if you're a ghost, you're a ghost. Now, unless you're haunting somebody, that's one thing. But
Poltergeist. Poltergeist, yeah.
But I don't even think Poltergeist was shooting any lightning down. So
No.
the most they're gonna do is scare the shit out of you. That's about it. So
I don't think there's gonna be. Well, I don't think this could do anything.
Let me give my Legends answer then. Right? My Legends answer is it actually has happened, but only in the books. And it was when one of the guys watching is going to know this because it's been years for me. I think it was one of the first ever Darths. I can't remember if it was Malgus or someone like that. It was one of the really old guys, Bane, something like that.
Yeah.
And when he died, he was super powerful. When he came back as a ghost, and he wasn't happy how the Sith Order was going. Right, the Sith Empire was in decline, so he whipped their shit up. Right, he came back and says no, and he made sure that they got the Order of Two, whatever it's called, where they're looking at your heels.
You see, and here's the problem with that. One, it's not canon. Okay, it's not regarded as canon and whatnot. Two, it becomes lazy storytelling then when a Force Ghost can appear out of thin air and then start causing changes to the physical environment. So, okay, say for the sake of argument, back in Star 6, Luke and Vader facing off, and say Vader's just about to do a killing blow to Luke Skywalker, and Obi-Wan shows up and Force Lightnings him. Okay. Yeah, no, it's lending itself to being able to give the ability of lazy story writing again.
Yeah,
and this is where the Rian Johnson really pissed me off, because all of that work, all of that script was just fucking lazy.
I agree with you on that, but here's one thing that was the door was kind of left open. New Hope.
Okay.
Obi-Wan says to Vader, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can even imagine. So that door was open.
Okay, but you see, here's the thing. Just because he says he'll become more powerful than you'll ever imagine, is it in that world or the next?
Well, when he said, you strike me down, meaning...
Okay,
if you take me out, but it left an implication of we don't know how powerful is too powerful. Is it OP? What is the potential? Obi never found himself in a position that he needed to intervene, and then you got a cat like Yoda who is more powerful than Obi-Wan.
Okay. So the working off that premise, then let's look at it this way: if that was the case, and Obi-Wan is that powerful, why in Episode 5 did he not stop Vader from cutting off Luke's hand? Not intervene on behalf of Luke, or calling him out and saying, "Yes, I'm sorry, it is your father."
He's resting to him, right?
Because I think he wanted Luke. Luke had to find that out on his own. He had to learn it the hard way. That's all.
And
but you see, the thing
he learned
as soon as the Force Ghost is able to start affecting the physical world around it, that becomes a device of lazy storytelling and lack of imagination on the person directing this.
Oh, and I agree. I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that door was always left. That door was always left open so somebody could come back and be going, well, Obi-Wan said it, so we can kind of excuse Yoda shooting lightning because the door is open.
And you know what? I got to give that to you. You are right. And there is that possibility. We don't know definitively. So, yeah, there may be that possibility. It's just Rian Johnson was stupid enough to step through that door and actually have Yoda do that. So now you've got this stupid possibility that Yoda or Luke Skywalker or Qui-Gon Jinn or Obi-Wan Kenobi, any of them could pop up and go, oh, psst, I'm going to burn you down with Force lightning. Or I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to open this door with this Force power. Or this. Well, yeah.
I think in terms of the story, I think that there's a whole other debate with the way that Luke turns away from the Force and is despairing and has got no hope left and all the rest of it. And I think that by using Yoda, who's a big fan favorite, and a lot of people were really happy when Yoda came back.
Yeah.
And went, all this temple bullshit that you've been looking at, and you've been looking after this for months or years, since Ben turned, and you've been looking after this temple, and you've been saying that this is what's important in the Jedi Order. You know what? Fuck it. And that's why he burnt it. It was like, now that focus is gone. Go sort your shit out. Stop moping around on this fucking island. And then when you've sorted your shit out, then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But the temple's gone now, so what are you going to do now?
I like that. The other thing is just a question for Joe, saying that, talk about lazy writing and all the rest of it. If it is that they can hyperspace the ship into the enemy ship, why haven't they used that tactic before in other films? It kind of feels a bit like...
Because reasons. That's why. Because reasons.
Yeah, you see, and this is why I say it's lazy writing. It's very short-sighted view of the questions and continuity of realism. Yes, it's a fantastical world with characters and abilities and stuff like that, but it was all grounded with a certain level of realism. And that's one thing J.J. Abrams brought back, was that realism, the sets and stuff like that, real characters interacting. It wasn't all green screen. So to see that, and then to see Rian Johnson making stupid fucking leaps with characters and story and agenda and the science behind it and so on and so on and so on, I just think this movie, other than the visuals, I like the characters, I like the visuals, I like the The special effects, I hate the story. I think it's shit from start to finish.
So
I think it was a waste of fantastic characters.
we've got a question here. Antronus Nexus is saying, Finn, he's kind of not been impressed with how he's been going because, and I kind of see his point. He's become really good for the comedy relief. You know, he's got some funny bits. And I'd come back to what Smith was saying about he's kind of going with the flow. He doesn't have his own direction for some reason. I mean, if you look at Rey's character, she started off, her motivation was to find out who she was, and then she went on to join the rebellion and feel part of something. Finn's kind of looking to get away, and he just doesn't want to be in the war. He doesn't want to be in the First Order. He doesn't really want to be a rebel. He's kind of doesn't know what he wants to be.
Yeah, he's just playing it by ear. He's just, like I said, his whole stick around part was Rey, because he was digging. Yeah, he was digging on her. So that's mainly why, like, when at the time when they went to the whole cantina, and he's like, "Come with me. Let's get out of here. Let's ditch all this and let's just go."
Is this a play on what Solo was like in the original trilogy? Because he kind of liked Leia. He wanted the money first, then he liked Leia, and that's why he stuck around with the rebellion. Do you think they're sort of playing on that for inspiration?
No, because Han was a badass. So you know, Han stuck around because I'm pretty sure Chewie set him down and it was like, and it was like, he's like, yeah, Chewie, you're right. It's the right thing to do. Let's go back. You know, but I think the difference between Han and Finn was, Han made it clear, I'm a mercenary. I'm here for the money. And then, you know, he had that talk with Luke that, you know, it's, you know, Luke told him, like, you know, it's bigger than just your money and the wealth. You know, there's a real, like, just whatever's going down is not just going to affect us, but it's going to come back and affect you in some sort of way. So I think that intel, like, you know, made Han kind of like, you know what, he's right. Because, you know, eventually I just can't keep going on being a, you know, a mercenary space pirate. You know, eventually I got to, you know, pick a side and, like, you know, do something, because eventually it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. So I might as well take action now. And then in between that, you know, you got the whole Han and Leia that just kind of progressed because he stuck around.
Do you feel that, Finn, you kind of need something really big to happen in the next film to make him keep the credence that we want? Because he's kind of gone into that misdirection thing, and he's good. He's a great actor. I love the actor. And he's got something about him, some chemistry, like you say, particularly with Rey, I think. But do you think, with all the failure, with all the not having direction and motivation, and now
actually, I've got a theory on that. Again, the point is, and this is that point again back to Episode 7, is the awakening came from Finn, and that's what gave him the ability to take that offshoot. But you see, if you look at the characters, you look at Han, you're seeing the equivalent in Poe Dameron. If you look at Rey, you're seeing the equivalent of Luke Skywalker. When you look at Finn, you're not seeing Leia. You're not seeing that aspect. This is a completely different take on a new archetype character. And so the main point of that is his story. The first one was definitely all about Rey. This one is now about Rey and Poe. And the third one, I think, is going to be less about Rey, much less about Poe. But I think Rey and Finn are going to be the equivalent. I think Episode 9, the pacing is they couldn't expand more in him on this one. And I think they set him up as a character that has faults, that has failings in his personal character, and Episode 9 is going to give him that option, that ability to resolve that. But it can't happen concurrently with the stories of Poe Dameron and Rey, and all of them trying to take center stage. He needs to have his own section. So that's why that branching bit. Like, personally, I think that whole thing about Rose saving him was a pile of shit. He should have died. They should have let him do it. And I think that would have been kind of the kind of a really great swan song for that character, because it would have pushed that arc of he did something, again, similar to Luke. He went out on a lion's roar, doing what he felt was necessary and right.
But you can't go killing off the
Whereas-
only minority. You can't kill the black.
He's not the only.
Well, you can't.
He's not the only
you can't,
minority.
I'm saying
That's
you
the
can't.
thing.
You can't kill. You can't do the trope of the black.
He's a main character minority.
The black guy dies. You can't do that. You can't do that. Come on, you know for a fact if he'd have died, people would have lost their shit. You know.
People are losing their shit anyway.
Yeah, they are. But I'm saying, but if they'd have killed Finn and killed him,
look,
if they'd have killed him and gave him that weak ass story that he was in, that part of the movie, it'd have been like, you know what? Why even bother with him in the first place if you was just gonna put him in that place, have it really do nothing with the plot, and then heroically die, but still a whole lot of unresolved issues.
And you know, fleshing out that story to have brought him to that point of death. Obviously, you know, the way they laid the groundwork in 7 was great. The way he was handled in 8 was really subdued, and I think because they had to give that subplot and give it so much weight because he wasn't the main focus. So they had to separate that entirely, which if you took out that entire thing with that other planet and that, it wouldn't have made a difference in the story one iota. But I really think Finn's time to shine is going to come in episode 9. And, you know, I think a few things are going to happen. I think Rey's going to turn heel. I think Kylo Ren's going to be the Skywalker legacy. And, you know, Finn, he's going to have his time to shine. Whether it's dying at Rey's hands, I don't know. But I think that's a very real possibility. I don't think Snoke's gone as well. You know, like you look at Emperor Palpatine. He survived that whole fall and everything. That's still canon. That's still recognized. He didn't die at the end of episode 6. So I think Palpatine, especially when you look at as well Clone Wars and Rebels, what other character was cut in half that survived and not only got mechanical legs but thrived?
Yes. My man Darth Maul, man.
Exactly, Darth Maul. So Snoke is supposedly so powerful in the Force, the dark side of the Force, that he couldn't survive himself enough to get medical help. But Darth Maul, who was still an apprentice, did.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You know, like I don't think Snoke is gone. I really don't, and I think if they did let Snoke go, it'd be a waste of the character. I don't think they're wasting him. Andy Serkis is a fantastic actor and did an amazing job with it. I honestly believe Snoke is going to be back for episode 9.
We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. I think so. So I think just looking at some of the other questions we've got here, we've got Two Complete That said, what will happen? The textbooks now. They were in the drawer on board the ship in the last scene.
Yeah.
In the last scene.
So she's going to take them and learn from them and
study them.
Yeah.
So she's going to effectively carry on the Jedi in some way. And do you think Yoda when he burnt the place, he knew the books weren't there?
Yeah.
Well, you see, that's the interesting thing. And what was kind of made note of in previous canon as well is that those original Jedi texts weren't talking about specifically Jedi. It was Jeddah.
Okay.
And as in the planet Jeddah, the origin of the Force users and the two moons, the light and the dark, and which is the Force of the Wills. Again, Wills. So I think this is the books that were talking about the true balance of the Force, the light and the dark, which is the Gray Jedi. And I think that's where they're going to be going if they're going to carry on Jedi at all. It'll be the Gray Jedi, and then just Dark Force users.
Well, there's a lot of Grey Jedi that have had a massive effect on the fandom, from Mace Windu to Ahsoka Tano. So there's a lot of characters that were grey, and I think that is a good shout. I think we spoke about that before as well. So that's a good point.
Bringing up Ahsoka Tano especially, she was a Grey Jedi and recognized in the Rebel series as a Grey Jedi. So that's a really great point that you brought up.
Yeah. Got a question or a point from Cliffjacker who says, Finn's sole purpose is to find, help, and protect Rey. Soon as he wakes up, the first thing he wants to know is how she is. And that was a point you raised earlier on. I think that's true, and I do think the Rose thing was kind of a curveball for us. So the next question is Rose going to be in the next film? Is she dead? Is she paralysed? Is she going to come back?
I think she needs to just kind of go. Like, you got the agenda out there. Seriously, it was a forced, no pun intended, she's a forced character. Like, it was, clearly there was a relationship, a chemistry between Finn and Rey. And like I said, when he woke up, that was the first thing on the dude's mind. That was the first thing on his mind. And then you go and sit there and go, well, we know you're thinking about her, but here, play with this Asian girl for a little while. See how she works with you. Just see if you like some Chinese. Just
yeah. Me love you long time.
Just seriously, and it was just really. YouTube buku. But yeah.
Oh, so shiny. We love you a long time.
Anything you want.
Love it.
But yeah,
it's been fantastic.
Yeah, but that's how I felt about it. Like, it was just they tried to take it another direction, which was like just carry on with what you already started with. Don't try to now give us another dynamic. I don't want a love triangle. And there was none of that. You knew, like I said, the whole Force Awakens, Finn was just like, he met Rey. He had a doughy-eyed look, and he was all about Rey. Like, Rey, every moment, where was Rey? Where's Rey? What happened to Rey? That's where his mindset was. And then to turn around and go, I wake up, I think about Rey, and then, oh, hey, Rose. Like, no, come on, like that was so heavy-handed, forced on us.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of the big issue, is that this movie was a diversity experiment. It was a forced diversity hire. They are forcing characters that didn't fit the narrative of Star Wars. It's a social justice warrior narrative that doesn't fit in Star Wars.
Oh, most definitely.
That's the big issue here. There were so many elements that really pissed me off of the whole feminist social justice warrior agenda that has no business being there and has caused a lot of problems with the storytelling because they're trying to fit everything into that Star Wars box, and they can't.
I think they are. The sad thing, because the fact of the matter is they've got so many great characters they can use of diversity. They've got great actors in it. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But it should feel natural and organic. And I do feel you're right. And it's a shame because Rose, the character, I don't know the name of the actress, but the actress is actually really good. I just think it's sad for her because she's getting the raw end of the deal here. Really. Does she? And it doesn't do justice.
My thing that gets me is, they push this social justice narrative and have all these strong female characters as if Star Wars never had strong female characters. There was always strong female characters that you act like it didn't exist. Like, did you watch any of these movies before? Like, Princess Leia wasn't a damsel in distress. She saved fucking Luke and Han. Like, come on.
First thing you see her do, pretty much in the film, is stun right away with her blaster while she's recording a message crucial to the entire survival of the rebellion.
Yeah.
So to sit there and say that you didn't have that, we needed now all these female lead characters, and it's like, oh, Poe, you silly man, we don't need to listen to you. We've got this figured out. We don't need to tell you anything. You just stay in your lane, and us women,
well, the
then you've
biggest
got Mom.
was
Mom
Leia slapping Poe.
Rebellion.
Yeah, Mothma, you're like, what? She doesn't do shit. She wasn't leading nothing. Every time I seen her, she's standing right in the middle, barking out orders. So what? She
was an absolute boss.
Yeah. So what? Her contributions didn't matter? I guess not.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. There was never an issue with diversity, with different characters, different leads. There was all the characters. George Lucas spent a lot of points on character development and fleshing these characters out to be strong, capable, realistic, and Mon Mothma and Leia and a variety of others. Fantastic characters.
Characters from the Legends, actually. It was a couple of them. One is Naomi Sunrider, who's an awesome Jedi. She's a Lady Jedi. Absolutely amazing. Then you've also got what's her name? There's a Shiri, I think it was.
Don't forget Ahsoka.
Yeah, which was like a robot cyborg woman that was the protector of Prince Shizor, and she was an insanely great character. If you read the book, she was brilliant. And I thought, why the next films I wanted to see growing up was these books, because the characters were fantastic, including the women in it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess they figured there was only 2 women, so that wasn't enough. So there needed to be more women. We need more women. Like 2 is not enough. Because obviously it must have not have been, because it's like you're gonna sit there and tell me there's not enough diversity when, first off, we're in a galaxy far, far away. So diversity is Star Wars. What, aliens don't count as diversity? People who speak other language. What Chewbacca ain't diverse enough for you?
Yeah, different races, different things, the whole night, different colors, different genders, whatever. Yeah. There was tons of it. There was no excuse for what they did with Episode 8. And I'm sorry, there was no excuse whatsoever to force that all of a sudden all of these human female characters, all white with funky colored hair, had to be in charge. And they're literally Poe Dameron, the leader of the frickin' X-Wing fighters, the best pilot in the fleet, the whole 9 yards, and you got Leia bitch slapping him like a mom slapping down a kid. And this is how the leader of the rebellion acts? And then the other leaders in charge, Laura Dern's character, I'm gonna look like a villain, I'm gonna act like a villain, until right at the end. And because you didn't trust me right from the start and just take it on word that I know what I'm doing, you're all racist, misogynistic.
Well, that's because he didn't listen and believe. That's why.
No. The thing is that she came across as villainous. Like she was working for the other side, for fuck's sake. So when it...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like she actually seemed like a villainous character, and right up until the end, she wasn't telling anything of their plans. So you're gonna tell, trust me, I'm not gonna tell you details of what we're doing. Just do it. What? Wait, what? Like they can't clue anybody in to. She's the only one, and a few select females are the only ones allowed to know the plans of how to escape. It is one of the most ridiculous fucking things I've ever seen in my life. And it pissed me off to no end. I wanted nothing more than to put a Glock up beside Laura Dern's head and just blow her fucking head off. Goddamn.
Don't hold back, bro.
I'm sorry. That is one of the most infuriating things. It defies all fucking logic.
I think.
And
when we get past all this, and I hope we do, get past all this sort of Disney-fying and fluffy porging, in fact, quickly tell a funny story about this. So our eldest boy come back from school, and he's very innocent, and he doesn't think anything bad. And he came back from school, and I work from home, so I'm sitting here working away. And he comes in and says, "Hi, Dad, how you doing? I'm good." He's saying, "Yeah, today we was at school, and the new Star Wars film's coming out." I said, "Oh yeah, right. Thanks for talking about it." Yeah, he says, "Anyway, we got onto the subject of porgs." Now, I hadn't seen that there was what was going on with porgs in the Star Wars, so I thought he meant the other kind of porg. And I was trying to think, how the hell does he know about this, and why are they talking about it at school? So I had quite a nasty shock there. That was quite amusing, I have to say. Thankfully,
For people that don't know, what does porg stand for?
I'm gonna let Smythe tell us because he's a mature man. He's a man of experience.
It's you that knows about it.
Listen, you know the Pogs were nothing but toys. That's it. It's a fucking toy. It was something to sell shit. We need something cute and fuzzy to get on here because we've already ran our course of BB-8s. So we need something new to sell to the people. Pogs. There you go. That's all it was. It's a goddamn advertisement for plushies. That's all it was.
Yeah, and you know what? It worked because my girlfriend is looking at that, going, "It's so cute. I want one." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yep. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, that's what it was there for, to sell, sell merchandise.
Someone who lives and breathes by the Transformer 86 movies. I knew there was a commercial, and I still didn't care. It was still a great movie, and yes, I wanted all the toys. But listen, eventually you just gotta accept it. Like, half the shit that you see is to try to sell you something. No matter what kind of media.
You brought up a really great point there. Yeah, it was an advertisement for new toys, but they told one of the best Transformer stories I've ever seen.
Oh hell yeah!
It is for me the high water benchmark of storytelling. That personally for me, the only ones that came close to it was Beast Wars and Transformers Prime.
I'll give you Prime, Beast Wars.
I'll argue that because you know what? Beast Wars, the series, it had some of the best character development.
Oh yeah,
and also it featured one of the most shocking moments for me as a Transformers fandom of Dinobot facing down the Decepticons or the Predacons and dying protecting humans.
Yeah.
That was his
that to me. Easily one of the best Transformers scenes I've ever seen.
For me, okay, Beast Wars was decent. It definitely broke new ground, especially with the animation. I think what rubbed me the wrong way is when they went to the whole Beast Machine, because that was just hot garbage in my opinion.
No. Let's leave Beast Machines out of this. It doesn't need to be part of the continuity. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, okay. I don't think about it.
Beast Wars on its own, though, being its own separate thing, not the same characters. They going forward and continuing the story, did a fantastic job. Beast Machines, however, sucked ass.
Yeah, but back the 86 movie, to me, I always say it's my number one top classic. In fact, when I've got nothing better to do, or back in the days when my cable went out, I'd pop that bitch in. I know it word for word practically. I've said it now, and I'll say it to the day I die. That one movie is better than every last Michael Bay film.
Yeah, I agree.
I love you.
And I've said this too. Why don't they just take that movie, make that live action?
There you go. Now that is an argument worth having, because that was storytelling. That was incredible pacing. It was fantastic start to finish. I've got that on DVD. I've got it on Blu-ray. I've even got an original video cassette. And I have it on digital on my phone.
But do you have the soundtracks?
I do. Hell yeah!
That's what I'm talking about. Because that soundtrack is the shit and a half, man. I'll tell you that much.
80s.
Oh yeah.
80s hair metal or whatever you want to call it is just so much fun because it is easy listening by today's standards, and it is just so
catchy.
much fun.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
And the best part of that movie is not only is it a continuation from the cartoon, which, by the way, as an adult, I go back and I've watched the cartoons, and yeah, it's ridiculous shit, you know, choppy animation, but there was still continuity, and the movie just kept it carried off from there as a continuation of where we've been, where we are, and where it was going.
Yeah.
So then when you got into season 3, boom, you was off and running. And like, you know, that whole movie in a whole is like, dude, I tell my friends all the time, like, that movie from the beginning to the end, nonstop action, very, very little human contact, because we don't need that. Like, I try to explain to them, like, listen, in the Transformer world, humans are secondary. There's the shit that gets pushed out of the way. Okay?
Yeah. Only that's true in the new films, though. If only.
See, listen, I can talk about the films so much because it hurts my soul. It does. Like I saw the first one just out of nostalgia, and I'll give the first movie this. It was good for what it did, but I can sit there and still chop it apart. Now, after the first one, I didn't pay any more money to see any of the other ones. I refuse to give that man money.
You and me both. No, one of the biggest gripes I had was Bay focused on the humans and, you know, girl and
because
whatever.
He likes hot women. He gets a boner for the U.S. military. Yeah. He gets a heart. Like he gets rock when he sees that United States flag.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll give this to Michael Bay. He can blow shit up better than anyone else in the world. He can't tell a story to save his life.
Yeah. He used to. That's the thing. He used to.
No, that's not the thing. Those were scripts that he was given and wasn't allowed to monkey with. Armageddon, that was all studio. He didn't have a say in changing story. He could do some minor design elements, but you know that was Bruce Willis's thing. And no one tells Bruce Willis what to do, including Michael Bay.
You get the shit fucked up.
Yeah. Like the only one good movie that I saw out of Michael Bay that was his and his alone was Pain and Gain.
Oh, that was a great movie.
I like
it. Was. I'll give props on that. But I'll tell you right now, Michael Bay. I'm sorry. The first movie, when there are characters introduced halfway into the movie that have more character development than the Transformers themselves, you have missed the mark.
No, what misses the mark is all of a sudden. So you mean to tell me this advanced alien robots with alien robot technology can be taken down by a mere human weapon? Now, I have one of the greatest books I've ever read, and I recommend others read it. Hold on one second.
Just quickly, while you do, I want to say Nat got me this as a present recently. Really cool. This is their First Order Black.
I gotta plug myself back in.
And
First Order Phasma?
No, this is the First Order Snow Trooper that she just got me as a surprise. So I'm just going to open this while you guys.
All hail Megatron.
Love that. That's a great
All hail Megatron.
Yes.
This book shows how little humans have against alien robots.
And it does it early on.
Early on. I mean, every attempt they made got squashed.
Yeah.
And what took Megatron down? A goddamn Cybertronian gun.
Yeah.
Not a human weapon, not some cannon, but an actual Transformers gun that laid Megatron out. Not some special rounds. No, this book right here is like my new Bible. I worship it. I pray to it. I read it for guidance. Yes,
you want to get that hardcover version of it. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great book, and it's got some extra stories to it and everything. But this is what a Transformer movie should be. That the humans, yes, they can try, but inevitably they will fail because they're dealing with alien robots.
100% in agreement with you. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head.
If it was that humans could beat the Transformers or beat the Decepticons with our own technology, then to me, there's no point in the story.
Yeah, there's no point of it anyway, because it's like, then you defeat the purpose of them being like, okay, if I see some alien come down here to Earth, I'm pretty sure my guns probably would do no effect because they probably have some advanced technology that is far beyond my capability, and they'd probably smoke me in a minute. But Michael Bay makes it seem like, let me just get our special forces and somebody call Tyrese. We need some strapping young men that can handle Transformers. Oh, shoot them in the back of the neck and it'll turn off their, like, how do you know how their systems work? They're alien robots. How do you know they have weaknesses? Like, it is so full of shit that it hurts my soul, because it's this is not the Transformers. In any iteration outside of the Michael Bay films, humans are secondary. They're just there for us as the watchers to relate to somebody. That's what Spike was. Spike was I can relate because I'm a human, but even Spike knew his fucking place.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, and going back to that, you know, again, the lapses in judgment for the live action movies, you know, like one of the things that I saw, and I was throwing popcorn at the screen because I thought it was the stupidest thing ever, when they introduced the fact that Megatron is frozen, and I'm like, he froze in the atmosphere in Earth, you know, underwater, okay. But he just finished traveling through -200-degree space.
He couldn't handle that gravitational pull. That's what it was.
Fine, you know, gravitational pull, and he goes underwater. It's still, for the sake of argument, even at the Arctic or Antarctic or wherever it was they found him, it's still not more than -200.
Here you go, folks. I've got my figure out. So thank you, Matt, for that. I love it.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
That's a nice figure. That's a really cool Stormtrooper. It looks similar to the Hoth Snowtrooper, but it's just got some different cues from the Force Awakens film and all the rest of it. I mean, obviously these guys are more for the new one, weren't they?
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, I think, because that was a snake on it, kind of.
Yeah.
So, right, guys, we're going to have to call it a night. So, just quickly round table. Do you want to quickly put on your channel, Smith, just to let people know if you want to come and check out your reviews?
Oh, definitely. It's called Smith's Super Awesome Reviews. I mainly do Transformer reviews. I'm starting to branch out. I've got some Marvel Legends, Dragon Ball Z. Every now and then I've done a few podcasts with me and a couple guys at the Sanctuary. We'll talk wrestling. And I'm basically trying to diversify my channel a little bit. But, you know, Transformers is always going to be the bread and butter. So if you want an honest review, how to spend your money, you know, stay away from the garbage, because that's one thing. On my channel, Michael Bay figures gets no play. You will find none in my collection. I've told my girlfriend many a times, you bring it in my home, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to throw it at you, and then I'm going to throw it at the house, because it gets no play. Gets no play. No play. We deal with G1. I'll do IDW. I'll do Prime. I'll do Animated. Hasbro, which they're about to lose some money, but no Bay. So if you want an honest review, you really want to know what I think about figures, old and new. It is not always got to be the new stuff. It could be the old stuff. You know, definitely come check me out, man. I love what I do. Like I said, it's in my blood, man. It's in my blood.
And we'll put a link to your channel as well in the description below, so everyone should be able to find it.
Definitely come check it out. You can check out my 10 bots, 10 shots video, which was definitely
that was a good laugh. I like that.
Yeah, I tried, man. I don't drink that much, so it really hit me hard at the end. I was just like, whoa. But it was fun. It was fun. I saw your 10 bots, 10 shots. What were y'all drinking?
You were drinking everything. Anything he could find. I was drinking apple sours.
Okay.
When it comes to shots.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've done enough shots in my time to know that I can't cope with shots.
Well, when we did our first boxing shots, it was years ago, and we did it with
we did White Russians, didn't we?
White Russians, which is easier because of the milk helps do.
Yeah.
It makes your stomach as you drink it. It was good.
I just went with the straight Jim Beam, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go hard. It's just it.
No, you know what? So if you're gonna be doing shots, man, you got to break out the lemon and limes and do some mas tequila.
See, that's the thing. I'm now at that age where I know my limitations. I'm 38. I decided a long time ago that if I'm gonna drink something, I'm gonna pick one liquor and I'm gonna stick with that. And
no, sometimes you gotta just break out of that mold there and try something new. Hell, I'm turning 43 in March here, and I'll challenge you. I'll do a Boston shots with you, and we'll do up tequila.
I might take you up on that offer.
And we definitely got to talk some wrestling then if you're interested, because I'm game for it.
I'm always down to talk some wrestling, man. I'm an old school head. I'm all about just the ins and outs. Like right now, as far as this Raw and SmackDown are concerned, I can't watch them anymore.
I haven't watched a WWE show in probably 4 years.
And I
can't be bothered because.
You want to talk some real SJW, you need to watch Raw.
No, I started seeing how things were going down with that, and I was really disillusioned from the previous years before that, and I was like, you know what, I've had enough.
Because guess what
I came from an era when we actually did storytelling in the ring. We didn't spend 20 minutes on a mic.
Yeah, I know. I trust me, you're preaching to the choir, because guess what they got coming? First time ever, 30-man female Royal Rumble.
Hey, you know what? If they can do a good job, I'm game for it. That's fantastic. A female Royal Rumble, again, I don't care if it's a female, male, intersexed in between, whatever. If they can get it done in the ring from rope to rope, bell to bell, I'm all for it. If they can put on a good show, fantastic. If they can't, get them the hell out of there.
I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that one. We're definitely going to have to chat, my friend.
Right, we're going to call it.
Absolutely. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Likewise.
Thank you, Smith, for coming on. We've really enjoyed it. We'll have to do this again.
Oh, most definitely, man. I'm glad you guys waited up for me, man. Like, totally. I'm happy to be aboard, and we definitely got to do this again, man. Like, definitely.
Dude, this is fantastic.
This was kick-ass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And thanks again, Monolith. It's always a pleasure.
Love being here, and I'm glad you guys keep bringing me back.
And thank you to everybody that's commented as well, because you've like the live chat threads like been going crazy all night, which has been really
and that is fantastic. They're the reasons we do this, and this is why we have this.
Yeah,
it is.
I'm kind of gutted that we don't get to keep these comments after.
Yeah, they all disappear when it finally ends, and
we
don't get the game. Yeah, it's YouTube technology. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but really good stuff. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Peace.